Well, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. You're watching NTV at 1. My name is Zeynab Ismail. We have all the stories making headlines across the country and beyond. But we begin here in Nairobi and we'd like to cross over live to the Kenya Prisons Staff Training College in Ruiru, where President Uhuru Kenyatta is currently speaking in an event where the recruits are passing out, which is the Recruits Pass Out Parade. Let's listen in to President Uhuru Kenyatta.
As new recruits, I want you to condemn the actions and misdeeds of the evildoer, but not the person and the human spirit in the prisoner. You must do your best to restore their goodness and to restore their humanity. This is how we shall together build a positive nation. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I want to commend the leadership of the National Prison Service under Commissioner General Wycliffe Ogalo, and also the commandant of this training facility, Madam Wanini Kireri, for a job well done. I am particularly pleased, as the CS just said earlier, that these premises that have played host to 3,000 recruits plus many trainers became, and because of efficient management and care, you have maintained a COVID-free environment since the outbreak of the pandemic in March, and my sincere congratulations to all of you. In the same breath, I wish to highlight and laud the service for continuing your tradition of upscaling inmates and upskilling them as well in areas such as artisanship, agriculture, engineering, and other vocations, so that when they re-enter society, they do so with skills and competencies that open up opportunities for gainful employment as well as enterprise. I commend the advanced efforts of the State Department for Correctional Service under the leadership of Dr. Matiang'i and the PS, for through the prison industries, you have established a highly secure, automated number plates production line. The production line will not only guarantee security and quality motor vehicle registration plates, but also promote local production and manufacturing. Your manufacturing and innovation efforts have maintained a standard that is unparalleled in our country, a standard that I would want you to replicate in other sectors under our nation's Big Four agenda. Similarly, I commend the efforts of the service in moving to stamp out mobile phone scammers, working with private institutions. You have built an enhanced surveillance system, complete with phone jammers and CCTV cameras in all our major prison facilities. With these innovations, the common scam of kupokea simu ya kamiti, I believe, will be a thing of the past. Last and not least, I also commend the service for the initiative to provide a target of 50 million tree seedlings. This will contribute significantly to the achievement of the 10% forest cover, which is our national target that we have set for ourselves. Equally encouraging and also worth registering is your push for cashless transactions to support prisons' enterprise. Indeed, Commissioner General, I congratulate you and your team for your revenues since we started this new system have shot up from a mere 2 million shillings to over 700 million shillings in under a year. Unajiuliza pesa hiyo yote ilikuwa inaenda wapi? What an achievement. All these and more positive initiatives have not been lost on me, and they are clear indications of a service that is truly transforming. Hongera, Kenya Prison Service. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, let me reiterate what I have said to the graduates as new recruits to the service and as the young makers of our country's present and future. Our national purpose as a people will depend on you. But as our young people, you must find a problem to solve. And if you become a community of solution givers and problem solvers, success will not only follow you, but success will also lead our country into a prosperous future. This is how our national purpose will be enhanced. Further, I want to reiterate that as new recruits to the National Prison Service, you must embrace restoration over stigmatization. This is the emerging order of our corrective service. And in this regard, I instruct you to shun prejudice and condemn the misdeeds of those in custody, but not the human spirit in them. Aspire to repair, to restore, and to re-engage the human soul in your spaces of work. That is how great nations are made. And to the leadership of the National Prison Service and your new recruits, I will end by saying this: let impossible not be your vocabulary. Indeed, impossible is nothing if we believe that we can. You, the leadership of this service, has demonstrated this ideal, and your new recruits must have no option but to follow in this positive spirit of work. I once again congratulate you and your families. I wish you every success. I wish you God's blessings as you proceed here henceforth to execute your duties as officers of the National Prison Service. Mungu awabariki, Mungu awalinde, mukiendelea na kazi yenu muhimu. Asanteni sana.
All right, there you have it, President Uhuru Kenyatta there in Ruiru for today's Recruits Pass Out Parade at the Kenya Prisons Staff Training College. And of course, it has been quite different from the usual funfair that has always been witnessed. We'll be getting more details on that speech in our subsequent bulletins. Now, the Commission on Administrative Justice, that is the Ombudsman Office, has warned agencies responsible for handling the COVID-19 funds to ensure accountability and prudent use. Speaking today in Nairobi, the Commission's chairperson, Florence Kajuju, noted that the public has been denied access to information regarding the funds.
The Commission has also noted with concern recent media reports where some public officers have been quoted declaring that they would not make disclosures on expenditure of COVID-19 funds. This is a blatant breach of the trust placed in the authority granted to public officers, and such conduct erodes public confidence in the integrity of the public office.
Meanwhile, the Kilifi County Assembly General Oversight Committee has rejected a report by the county executive on the usage of the 220 million shillings COVID-19 emergency fund. The County Assembly Speaker, Jimmy Khaindi, who also chairs the committee, claims that the report failed to indicate how the monies were spent. But according to the report signed by the Finance Executive member, the county government spent 10 million shillings for the supply and delivery of soap bars and another 46 million shillings for the supply and delivery of 7 ventilators. 23.7 million went into the purchase of assorted non-pharmaceutical items. The county procured 7 ICU beds at 4 million shillings and 100 normal hospital beds, bedside cabinets and mattresses for an additional 12.6 million shillings. 3 cardiac monitors were bought at 4.8 million shillings. 5 washing machines at 4.6 million shillings. Education Cabinet Secretary George Magoha has once again reiterated that no learning activities will resume in schools this year unless the levels of COVID-19 infections in the country slow down. Speaking during an inspection tour of Kenya School of Government, Mount Kenya University and Thika Technical Training College, Magoha said the higher learning institutions should continue offering online classes, exams and graduation ceremonies, adding that public universities which do not have online learning resources will be supported by the government. Magoha also dismissed the proposals by Nyeri Town MP Ngunjiri Wambugu to have candidates who were scheduled to sit their national exams this year take the exams.
For those universities that do not have online resources, especially the public ones, and that there are about maybe 20% of them, I think government is going to look into a situation where perhaps a line of support can be given to them. The argument of the MP for Nyeri is very simple. He is saying that we should set an exam based on what the children have learned. But we have told him many times, see, I've come here. We have gone to schools and we have briefed everybody, including His Excellency the President, that as far as public schools are concerned, even the examination classes alone cannot come back and do exams because it is not going to be possible.
Away from education matters, the Ministry of Livestock has dismissed claims of Middle East respiratory syndrome coronavirus outbreak among camels in northeastern Kenya. The Directorate of Veterinary Services acknowledges the death of more than 200 camels, which it clarified was caused by a bacterial infection. Mamo Ali with the latest development.
The Ministry of Livestock says it investigated and has established a bacterial disease inflicted camels between May and June this year. Reacting to the latest development, the Kenya Camel Association has welcomed the report, adding that the sector suffered huge losses following claims of MERS-CoV among Marsabit camels.
So now the people are scared if they get this kind of information. And it has also scared the pastoralists themselves because they no longer sell these products.
Marsabit County public health officials are sounding the alarm over the rapid spread of the rare disease, which they say has killed at least 200 camels in Yagara, North Sub-County. The Ministry of Livestock has clarified that the animals died from a bacterial infection that causes respiratory illness and death if not treated. The Camel Association agrees.
Yes, we know that after long rain and after the last short rain, there are outbreaks of diseases amongst even other species of animals, sheep and goat, cattle and all over, and also camel. What was here with us for some times during this long rain and to date is what is called ORF. ORF is a form of disease outbreak which comes. It's not something that's new. It has been there for many, many years. So it normally affects the young camels, you know, between 2 to 3 years or 4 years.
The World Health Organization says the Middle East respiratory syndrome, a viral respiratory disease, was first identified in Saudi Arabia in 2012. Mamo Ali, NTV, Marsabit.
Thanks, Mamo. Now, the floods that have rendered several parts of Baringo County impassable have not only submerged people's homes and hopes, but also their businesses. The swelling lake is swallowing up key areas that have attracted both local and international tourists, straining the tourism industry that is just trying to keep its head above water due to COVID-19.
The floodwaters from the swollen Lake Baringo continue to bring pain rather than blessings to the area residents. The rains have left destruction to homes and businesses. The hospitality industry that is trying to recover from a 4-month forced closure has also been affected. The Soy Safari Lodge is just one of the many lodges that are currently submerged in floodwaters.
All of the farmers, all of this area along the lowlands, the Baringo lowlands, that is now all underwater.
Still reeling from the effects of massive flooding that submerged homes and displaced hundreds of people, Baringo residents are facing yet another challenge. Over the past 2 weeks, those who live around the swollen Lake Baringo have been experiencing tremors. They are worried that the tremors could be a precursor to an earthquake.
Last week tumekuwa na earthquake imetokea hapa. Unasikia tu usiku inatingisa. Unasikia vitu kama masufuria nini inatingisika. Watu wamekuwa na shida mingi wakifikiria kwamba labda ni mambo ya maji haya ndio labda maji kumejaa chini.
According to Lake Baringo Chief Warden Jackson Komen, the tremors occur twice a day for seconds. He is now calling upon the government to dispatch seismologists to Baringo urgently.
Lake Baringo used to be 176 kilometers squared, but at the moment it's about 260 kilometers squared. We have lost a big chunk of land, especially the riparian area, along the eastern shores of the lake, for example. Several households has been submerged. On the western shores of the lake, which is Camel all the way to Loruk, several households has been affected.
Joshua Chepsergon, a resident, said that the public cemetery has also been affected, as some coffins could be seen floating in the floodwaters. The tourism industry has been dwindling since 2013, when the lake started rising and has not receded since. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
Now, healthcare services in Embu County are ailing after a section of healthcare workers took to the streets on a second day of protests this week, decrying poor standards of facilities in the county. Addressing journalists after a meeting with CEC Health and the Public Service Board representatives, the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers Embu branch chairman Aloysius Njoka said the situation of the county was putting health workers at a greater risk of infections. Further, the healthcare workers raised concerns over the grounded ambulances in garage yards owing to service fees owed. This has resulted to a shortage of ambulances as many are not running.
Vitu kama ambulance hazikui resurfaced. Unapata county moja inazunguka ambulance mbili badala na zingine kama 10 zimelala.
All right, let's take a quick break here on NTV at 1. We'll be back with more.
Introducing Ndovu Home Baking Flour and Ndovu Maize Meal, now in an attractive new packaging. Ndovu flours are fortified with vitamins and minerals to provide wholesome goodness for the whole family. Milled from a blend of the finest wheat, Ndovu all-purpose flour makes the most delicious chapatis, mandazis and all other pastries. Ndovu is readily available at your nearest shop. Ndovu Tosha.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
In the vast green Kiambu County, surrounded by luscious coffee plantations, flowing natural rivers, and alluring dams sits the beautiful Zaria village, with every amenity desired for a home carefully considered. The village comprises of a perimeter wall, a kindergarten, a commercial center, and a clubhouse. There are 4 approved architectural house concepts, styled to accommodate your ideal dream home. Indulge your senses and relive your childhood desires, where you can be free, be bold, and be at home. Call us on 0729 121212, where you should dream it, own it, live it.
Come over. Wacha nikupikie kishef Ramzi. Yes.
Rina vegetable oil stays liquid to the last drop, so it's smooth cooking from start to finish. Now with an easy-to-pour cap. Mapishi poa, madishi poa.
Well, thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching NTV at 1. Now, 6 Kenyans and 1 Zimbabwean national aboard MS Westerdam cruise have finally arrived in Mombasa. The 7 was stranded for 9 months on the high seas due to the coronavirus pandemic. A crew change happened 6 nautical miles off the port of Mombasa on Wednesday morning.
A Dutch-flagged cruise vessel called at the port of Mombasa Wednesday morning. Aboard were 300 seafarers from different parts of the world. They have been stuck at sea for several months after countries around the world locked their borders due to the outbreak of the coronavirus disease. A KPA tugboat approached MS Westerdam at 6 nautical miles off the port of Mombasa, and one by one, 6 Kenyans and a Zimbabwean national disembarked from the cruise ship.
Our crew have been on board for more than 9 months, and they were feeling like they need to come home now. And the time of crew change was not ready, and there was no flight. But Kenya, when we started on 2nd, that was a boom to all over the world, because all over the world knew that Kenya, we are doing crew change.
The crew change was the first to take place in the country after Kenya relaxed her COVID-19 restrictions, which included reopening of the borders. According to Kenya Maritime Authority, more than 400 Kenyans are aboard different ships. Some of the seafarers' contracts have expired or cannot travel due to COVID-19 restrictions.
They were not able to sign off from ships and sign off from ships at the end of their contracts. And this resulted in a lot of suffering for them, especially those who had completed their contracts and were due to proceed for their vacation.
MS Westerdam, which is one of the largest cruise ships in the world, departed from Malaysia and will travel to Tanzania, Ghana and South Africa, dropping off sailors.
Just before the corona, we had quite a number of calls, almost 6 calls. Ship calls were expected this year, and they were cancelled because of the corona. So we believe after corona, we will have more than that.
Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
And we're glad our seafarers are back home. Our lobby group now wants the National Assembly through the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee to investigate wanton corruption at the Judiciary. The lobby group People's Law Society of Kenya marched to Parliament this morning to deliver their petition, which they said was a representation of the people's voice as debate on why the president did not appoint the 41 judges rages. According to the group leaders, they have collected enough signatures to allow the relevant parliamentary committee to clean up judicial administration. The lobby group also wants sobriety in the dealings between the executive and the judiciary.
That Parliament embarks on a process of amending the Constitution, specifically sections of Chapter 10, to entrench a process for vetting of all the current serving judges and magistrates. And number 2, that the vetting be conducted before the next general election. Number 3, that the vetting be conducted soon after the retirement of the current Chief Justice, Honorable Justice David Maraga, which constitutionally will be on or before 21st January 2021. That the Parliament also amend the Constitution to provide for such vetting every 5 years to ensure that the sanctity and integrity is restored in the judiciary.
The matter is with the Speaker, and I will not comment on it, but I thank the group here for doing a wonderful job. The Speaker will do the necessary.
Well, a day after KCB Group reported a 40% plunge in its half-year earnings, Cooperative Bank has revealed that its net earnings for the same period declined by 3.7% to stand at 7.1 billion. In the period under review, Cooperative Bank's loan book grew from 257 billion shillings to 272 billion shillings, an increase of 5.8% compared to June 2019. The bank has also seen its asset quality deteriorate, with the bad debts rising to 34.3 billion compared to 30.6 billion in the same period last year. Cooperative Bank is set to acquire a 90% stake in Jamii Bora Bank effective August 21st, following the green light from the Central Bank of Kenya and the National Treasury. Now, the county government of Tharaka Nithi has embarked on an ambitious plan to build a modern market in the county's headquarters in Kathwana in an effort to fully upgrade the town to municipality status. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony, Governor Muthomi Njuki said the modern market would be on a 3-storied building complete with all amenities that conform to government regulations. Kathwana was recently accorded municipality status, thus the efforts to upgrade it. The upgraded market is also part of the governor's manifesto, which also accommodates people living with disabilities. All right, now the county government of Kirinyaga has embarked on a program to feed families affected by the coronavirus pandemic in all the counties, sub-county. Speaking at one of the distribution camps in Ngiriama, the program coordinators say the program has benefited thousands of families. So far, 6,000 families have benefited from the program. Food distribution has been done in Kamwana, Kiamutugu, Gidhure, Kiamugumo, Gatugura, Kiamashiri and Karia villages, and is expected to go on throughout this week.
We are targeting to distribute 4,000 food for 4,000 households. We have started in Kamwana, then we are going to Kiamugumo, Gidhure, and finally we are ending at Kiamutogo. Each stop we had calculated to benefit 1,000 households.
All right, let's now take a look at stories making headlines in the world of sports. And the Boxing Federation of Kenya will renovate the ring donated by the then sponsors SportPesa and return it to Mombasa. The ring set up at Mbaraki Sports Club has been in bad state and unused by coast boxers.
Chini ya uongozi wake Jamal ilichukua jukumu la kuja kuchukua hii ring kwa sababu mumeona vile ilikuwa kwa hali mbaya. Ichukue hii ring, iende iundwe na iweke kwa ile standard ambazo zinatakana kwa sababu ilikuwa pia kubwa zaidi ya vile inatakikana. Irekebishwe, iwe kwa hali nzuri ambayo itasaidia vijana wa Mombasa na region vile tumekubaliana.
Ring yenyewe vile ilivyokuwa, kusema ukweli ni jambo la kusikitisha, kwa sababu haina maana kuweka kitu kama hauwezi kukitunza. Na huu ni ujumbe ambao anatumia BFK family kwamba ahadi yao wanachukua hii ring ambao tulikuwa tumezawadiwa na SportPesa wakati tulikuwa na ushirikiano nao, utaenda waitengeze, ipunguzwe kidogo, iwe madhubuti, alafu irudishwe hapa kwa minajili ya kufanya nini? Kutumika na vijana, si wa Mombasa peke yake. Hii
And PSG scored 2 late goals in a sensational comeback against Atalanta at Estádio da Luz in Lisbon in Portugal to reach the Champions League semi-finals for the first time in 25 years. Thomas Tuchel's side looked set for another quarter-final exit after Atalanta took the lead through Mario in the 20th. After having a night of frustration, Neymar, the world's most expensive champion Egan Bernal said on Wednesday he wants Ineos teammate and four-time winner Chris Froome alongside him at this year's race. The Colombian finished third and the British rider a lowly 86th at Wednesday's opening stage of the Critérium du Dauphiné. Reports in the French and Italian media over the weekend claimed Froome is a doubt. We had lined up for you this hour. Many thanks for keeping us company. More news later on in our subsequent bulletins. Remember our Twitter handles at NTV Kenya. You can always be part of our conversation there online. My name is Zeynab Ismail. Do enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
This is NTV.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.